What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you are watching this on the replay or at some point in the future, you're going to want to skip this part and jump to about the 10-minute mark because we're going to do some live interactive stuff, giveaways, and it's not going to make a lot of sense. It's not going to be very valuable to you if you're watching this in the future. Now, if you are one of the people watching this on the replay, I do have a question for you, and that is, what the hell's wrong with you? The best stuff happens here live, and the giveaways, you can get to ask questions of our guests, and it's a lot more fun. So you don't want to miss out on being here live. So click the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future streams and videos and everything else that's good here. So having said all that, once some folks get on, can somebody let me know how the audio and video quality is? I always make sure I check that. I know it's a cliche webinar thing, but I've definitely been on these and like been talking to myself, and that's no fun. That's embarrassing when that happens. So I don't want that to happen again. So if you're watching, and can you just comment in the comments or in the chat or wherever it is that you're watching at to let me know everything looks and sounds good. All right. Facebook user says looks and sounds good. Joe says, hey, all clear. I know it's not Joe, but that's easier than. John says from Best Website Solutions, there's your free plug, says all is good. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it now that we know that we look good. At least the video quality looks good. Me, not so much. So what we're going to do, as is our tradition here on the channel, is we're going to start by giving away some legit merchandise to someone that wins the contest here in a minute. That sentence didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but we're going to plow through. So what I'm going to do now is bring up on the screen the legit merch store located at shop.legit.com. And what you were going to be giving away is, if you click shop our gear, you'll be able to pick whatever piece of merchandise you want. We actually sold the Legit Friends t-shirt here earlier today. We sold one of those. We don't sell much merch because that's not really the point of this, but that made me laugh. But we got license plates, coffee mugs, t-shirts, golf balls that no one ever chooses because I don't know why. And a mouse pad, hat, coffee mug, tumblers, and so on. So the winner, we'll pick whatever they want, and we'll send that out to them. So let's go ahead and bring up the software and click the right stream. Let's make the keyword. Let's go with the links, because that's mostly what we're going to talk about today. And we'll start now. So we'll let this go for about 5 minutes. What you're going to want to do, wherever you're watching, type in the chat, type in the comments, type the word links, and that will enter you in a contest to win some legit merch. Now, while that's going on, I'm going to go over to Facebook and reduce the size of my groups by doing a notification to everyone, because that pisses people off, but it works. So let's go ahead and do that. And lots of folks saying links. They want that legit merchandise, because who can blame them? DCWD representing, says Brett. I don't know what those initials mean, but I assume that it means something to someone.
That's my membership group.
Oh, all right. That was Brett Melville, in case you were wondering.
What up, Brett?
All right, let's go ahead and send that there. I'm not going to be able to do these in Facebook groups much longer, unfortunately, because Facebook is removing API access for groups. So no one will be able to do anything in groups via software anymore, which isn't the worst thing, because the reach is absolutely terrible. All right. It should be there. And then let's jump over here, because you can only do this through mobile for some reason. So we're going to do that. And then we will choose a winner. Everybody's saying links. Turnout's starting to pick up a little bit. It was a little soft in the beginning, but now we got some folks showing up. Just saw a push notification go out. All right, lots of folks rolling in now. So that's good. Twitter has had a great turnout lately for these. I don't know why. All right, we got about, let's say, 2 more minutes before we choose our winner. Hopefully, I mean, no offense to that dude, but hopefully the guy that won twice last week doesn't win again. People will start to think it's rigged. Let's if you are in a Facebook group, you're going to have to go ahead and authorize StreamYard. So the way you're going to do that is go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And the way you know that you're not able to participate is if you're showing up at as Facebook user. Somebody said, I missed what to do. Just type the word links, whoever that was. It scrolled off the screen before I could catch your name. It was Gabor. Missed what to do. Just type the word links and you'll be a participant. Ban him for 2 minutes. Yeah, whoever's if you're showing up as Facebook user, you're going to want to type the word link. You're going to want to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, or else it won't count your entry. Once they get rid of groups, we won't have to deal with that problem anymore. So that's a good thing. Now it works. StreamYard stuff. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Wrapping up, got about 18, which is only about less than half of the people here. So I guess nobody wants any merch today. They figured that one dude whose name escapes me is going to win again. All right. Got about a minute and a half left. I say about because I have no idea how many seconds, because the clock doesn't show seconds anymore. I don't know why. All right. Lots of familiar faces, but some folks I don't recognize too. That's always good to see. And the attendance is climbing, which is also good to see. Less than a minute remaining, and then we will choose our winner, and then we will get into it. We do this to spread the merch around and to, frankly, get the seen in people's feeds because of all the comments. So there's your little social media tip for the day. Not that you asked for one. All right. Imamo, what's up, Imamo? Wanjiku, Yash, Joshua. All right. Less than, well, I don't know how long, but just a few seconds remaining. And then we will choose our winner. So when I say stop saying links, please stop saying links. It's annoying when it's like 15 minutes later and people are still saying that. So in a moment, I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to ask you to please stop. So just a fair warning. All right, please stop saying links. Let's go ahead and choose our winner. Another regular winner of ours, Keith Hawkins. Congratulations, Keith. Normally, this is the part where I would tell you what to do, but Lord knows you've won enough times in the past to know what to do. So go over to the Legit Merch store, pick out a piece of merchandise, and send support what you won and what your address is, which they probably have memorized at this point. And yeah, they'll get it out to you. So congratulations, Keith, our ambassador to the UK, by the way. So, all right. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. We got a lot to cover today, and we don't want to waste any of our guests' time. So I am joined today by Dan Maverick Ray, who is a longtime link building expert. I'm going to give my story with him and then I'll ask him to introduce himself. But maybe 5 years ago, Ahrefs put out this blog post that had the best Facebook groups for SEO. And my group, Superstar SEO, was in it. And then Dan's group was in it. And then a few others were in it as well. And that was how I first heard of Dan. And I joined his group and all the other groups. And then we never spoke for any of those years, despite being on Facebook together. And then one day, maybe a month or two ago, we started talking, and he joined us on Legit, and we started talking, and that's how we got him here today. So that's kind of my background with Dan. But Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. It's late night here, so I'm ready to settle down, but
I appreciate you taking the time to do that. It's really hard to coordinate the time zones on these things, because I had one guy from India last week who it was like 2 a.m. for him. So I appreciate that. So we won't waste any of your time then. So why don't you just give us a little bit about your background and what you do now, your origin story, as it were.
Right. So I think my origin story is quite boring. I ran a lot of when I was in university, I wanted to like be a writer. So I started applying for freelance writing jobs and stuff like that. They were paying like $30 per article. So I was like, this is sweet, right? I get to write all day and I can make like $300 a week. And I thought, wait, if I'm getting paid 30, how much are they making from this? Like that's just the mindset I've always had, right? So I'm like, surely I should be making more. So I Googled how they were making more. I found Pat Flynn.
Yeah.
He used to have an article that was called The Backlink Strategy That Works. So I copied that, and I was with some at the time I was in like a community with a quite a big name marketer. We won't say his name because he's not that well liked, I think. And so we went into business together, started a website, and it blew up like massively quickly. And we just thought, shit, like we should be doing this for other people and making loads of money. So I literally went around. These were the days before phone cameras. So I went around with a digital camera, like this big fucking junky thing like that, taking pictures of every business I could see that had a website and a phone number. And I called them, like 35 calls in one day. It was like,
oh, wow.
Yo, I can fix you. You want more traffic to your website? And they were like, yeah, sure. I made like £5,000 in one day. And I was like, okay, that's what I do now. And I just did it over and over and over again. A couple of times my kidneys failed.
Ooh.
So I went to hospital for like an entire month, no access to any internet or anything. And then it's like your business dies.
Yep.
So I thought, right, I need to systemize this and create processes and stuff. So when I go missing, the business doesn't die.
Right.
And here's where I am now. And now I'm even worse with kidney failure. Like they've actually failed now. They're kaput.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I dialyze 3 days a week. So I'm waiting for a transplant.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. I hope that goes out.
I mean, it's not a thing to complain about, really. It's just you get on with it, right? So that's where I am now. But the business is so well systemized because of those times earlier that I don't really need it, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you do now, though? You sell, it's mostly link building, or is it agency?
I only sell links now.
Okay.
I'm selling links at the moment to finance. I really want to sell info products full time.
Okay.
And I've never taken it seriously. I've sold 7 figures in info products, but I've never taken it seriously. It's never been my main goal.
Right.
And I think moving forward, that's going to be the way I progress. But at the moment, links.
Okay. So well, first of all, let me back up. You said, the thing you said that resonated with me there was, if I'm getting $30 for this article, how much are they making for it? That's what's always driven me crazy about the agency model, is like, they're paying you $500 to $3,000 a month and you're making them millions of dollars. I was like, why the hell am I spending all this time building their business for an allowance? That's how it's always felt to me. Not that there's anything wrong with agency, because I know people that make a lot of money doing that, but that's why it never resonated for me, because I always felt like I was building other people's businesses and I was just a different type of an employee, because I don't want to be an employee. And that's not that there's, again, anything wrong with that, but that's why it never appealed to me. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, I definitely relate to that part. So you said you focus only on links now. What drew you specifically to links? Because I know there's a lot of money to be made there, but it also takes a lot of effort and a lot of skill. And just kind of tell us why you went that direction with it.
I'm just really fucking good at it. Ultimately, when you're good at something, do it, right? If you have an unfair advantage, drive it for everything it's worth. I'm really good at links because I think I'm very good at problem solving and very good at seeing where a roadblock is and how to get over it. So even when negotiations are tough and you're doing outreach and somebody's like, no, we don't do links and stuff like this, I can usually find a way to get that link to make my value seem like it's worth it to them. I'm going to give you this much stuff, and all I want is this. That natural ability leans perfectly to link building. And I try and teach people how to do it. The thing is as well, people have such low criteria with links that it's, when I see other link builders and the work that they do, I think, like, I think it's a lot of scamming going on.
Scamming, like, so do you think that they're intentionally ripping people off, or they don't know what they're doing, or why do you say that?
I don't think people know what a good link is.
Okay.
Ultimately, and they think a link is a link. The problem with that is if the seller thinks that and the buyer thinks that, people are buying shit and thinking they're getting gold.
Yeah. As a link seller myself, I run into the issue of everybody thinks something different, like meaning they evaluate it differently. So like what's a great link to somebody else is somebody else is calling it spam. And like some people look at this tool, some people look at that tool, some people look at this metric, some people look at that metric. I find it's very useful to be upfront with what they can expect from me metric wise. And if they don't like it, that's tough shit. I told them ahead of time. How do you go about approaching that?
It's the metric thing. It's crazy, right? Let me tell you a story from this week to show you how important metrics are. They are completely irrelevant to how good a link actually is, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, I sent the same email to half my lists, right? I split it in two. One of the emails was titled, it was like hyper relevant backlinks for sale kind of thing. The other one was DR50 backlinks for sale. One person contacted me for this. 35 people contacted me for this.
Yep.
People care so much about the DR, and it actually means nothing.
Yeah. Well, because you can easily manipulate DR to make it higher or lower or whatever. I mean, I think it's somewhat useful as a starting point to start analyzing a link. I think that's the only value that it has. I actually, one time I had a customer complain that a link that I sold them had shown up on SEMrush as toxic or scored toxic. I forget what they call it, but something like that. And I tweeted at SEMrush and was like, SEMrush, whatever you prefer, and said that I wish that people would stop thinking that this metric means anything. And I got them to admit that their own toxic link rating wasn't something that affected Google ranking.
Yeah.
They know it doesn't do it, but people love a score, and I get why that people build that into software, because people absolutely
love it. It's crazy how ingrained the metrics and the terms that individual tools use to sell you stuff. People just think that's what Google thinks.
Yep. It's
just some third-party tool that has a micro amount of the data that Google has.
Yeah. It's always annoyed me that Moz chose domain authority as the name of their metric, because I often refer to authority as like the authority of a site or a link or something. Yeah. And people think I mean domain authority. And I have to clarify that I mean just authority in the way that it means in English, not in the way that Moz decided to do it. So it was actually probably smart of them to do that, to be honest, but it irritates me.
That's a clever, but never underrate how clever Rand was in those days.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So since you such high quality links and are just so good at, do you have any like assets of your own, like affiliate sites or any sites of your own that you'd use them for?
For a long time, I built affiliate sites, and I was working towards a gambling site, because the idea was I'd been to a lot of gambling conferences where I was talking on stage and stuff, and people always come up to me and they say, how much traffic do you have? So I started talking to the owner of Alia Casinos, and this guy's a billionaire, right? And he says to me, he sits in a room at these conferences and he says, how much traffic do you have? What's your income? And if somebody says to him the magic number, £8,000 per month or $8,000 per month, he goes, sure, here's $1 million, and just automatically buys the site. He doesn't even look at it. If it makes that money, he buys it for that much money. And I thought, right, so all I have to do is build gambling sites that make $8,000 a month. That can't be that hard, right? And then I'll just, because I have his personal number, like, I've got these sites, do you want them? And I built a site that was probably at the $750,000 value range.
Okay.
And I lost it in an update.
Yeah.
Just zero, boom. And I thought, right, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So I've not built a site since, unless for experimental purposes.
Right. That's unfortunately that's a pretty common story right now. Affiliate or niche sites, as they were called affiliate sites when I was coming up. They call them niche sites now. They got absolutely slaughtered in the last couple of updates in the last year or so. Like if you look on Twitter, there are people just quitting or switching to like Facebook traffic, and they're like, "This is not worth it." So
this recent update, I think people are very, very wrong about what it is, and I think there's people hoping on some sort of turnaround or recovery.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm in some very, very high level masterminds, and these sites are not coming back.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I feel like I think of it as I try to think of it from Google at the business's perspective and not from the search engine's perspective. And what they're doing, I think it makes a lot of sense for them from a business perspective with having so many more things in the SERP itself, so we don't have to go to a website. And frankly, a lot of this, they're the stuff that got de-indexed or at least, unranked, probably didn't deserve to be ranking in the first place because it was just a bunch of made up content. And I'm guilty of that too. A bunch of like made up reviews and stuff. And it probably got way worse when AI came out.
The future of Google is not to have links and people clicking on them.
Right.
And that's just what people have to get used to now. It's happening as we speak. There's still links, but the future is not that.
Yeah, I agree.
So eat while it's good, but be prepared.
Yeah. I think there'll still be a need for like local business type sites, but as far as like information, I think it's complete. They would rather have you never click on a website ever again if they could make that happen. Which, again, from their perspective, I get why they do that. It may not be the best thing for their customers, but that's where they make their money.
Well, a lot of the only people who are complaining about it are SEOs, right? And Google said for years, don't be an SEO.
Yeah. It's not even all SEOs. Like local SEO people don't seem to mind as much, but like affiliate sites are just completely like they pretty much wiped out that whole industry for the most part.
Every site that relied on good amounts of traffic from organic Google.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, to be fair, the ones that they are serving, all like the Forbes and the Outlook Indias and all that shit, I don't find that to be very useful either. But that's the way it's going. So,
if you were a machine like Google is, you would rank those sites because millions and millions of people go to visit it.
Yeah.
So why not, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. It's still not like, as a consumer, I find it harder and harder to find things that I'm looking for.
Yeah, same.
But it is what it is. I guess we really did ruin the internet, like that Verge article a few months ago said. Great. So let's talk. We'll go back to links for a second. You said you don't really pay much attention to like metrics. So you don't have to give away your whole system, of course, but like, what do you look at when you're evaluating?
I'm happy to give my whole system. I sell it on your site.
Oh, all right. Well, whatever. I don't like to assume that when I ask this kind of question, but what do you look at is when you're evaluating if a site is a good link or not?
So let's say there are seven things that, right, if the people watching this now are link builders who want to sell links or build better links, if you start doing these 7 things, you're better than 99.9% of link builders already. So we have to look at metrics, even though I just said they were useless. You have to look at them because your clients care about them. Mm-hmm. You can't underestimate how important what the client wants is over what right? I know what the perfect link looks like, and we'll talk about that later, but before you even get to the perfect link, you have to do perfect prospecting. So this is what it looks like. You need to look at the metrics. You need to make sure it doesn't have links to like porn, gambling, finance, even crypto and CBD and stuff like that, right? It can't have outbound links going to those places.
Right.
It's really easy to check these things. You just use like Ahrefs or SEMrush, whatever. They all allow you to search the outgoing links and the anchors that they use. So you just search what the anchors are for like loans or casino, slots, those type of things. And you can see if one shows up, it can be like, if it's a sports site, it makes sense that there would be some of those. So it's not so bad there. But if it's a site that's about, you know, e-bikes, for example, and it has gambling links on it, you think probably don't want to link from that site, right? Then staying in Ahrefs, you look at the traffic chart. If there's a massive dip in the last 6 months, obviously there's been either a loss of ranking for some reason, or an algorithmic or manual penalty. That's the only reason for traffic loss. Either of those things means Google doesn't value that site. So why would it value a link from that site? That's the next thing. The traffic that a site gets should be from the country that you are targeting. That seems like a no-brainer to me, but a lot of people will say, this site's relevant. It talks about the thing I'm talking about. But all of the traffic is from India, and you're a company in Canada trying to sell to Canadian people. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The traffic has to be from the country that you are targeting. A lot of these websites exist only to sell links. That's the only purpose of them. I call them honeydick sites, right? Avoid honeydicks. And we used to call them link farms. Same thing.
Yeah.
Stay clear of them, right? They only exist to do that. And a lot of these sites will actually be really good. So you can have like a site that exists to sell links, but it's actually a good site. What they do is they put your link on an orphan page.
Right.
Which means it can't be navigated to from the site. So it's on the site, it looks good, but you cannot get to that site anyway. And if you can't navigate to it, the Google bots can't navigate to it. Bad link if it's on one of those pages. So avoid them. I don't like, and this is a personal preference, sort of like the general or magazine type sites. So if a site's talking about education and swimming and laundry, you think it's probably not worth it. Even if you're in one of those industries, you don't want the site that talks about all of those things. I want a site that only talks about laundry and the things around laundry. And that's 7 things, right? I've said metrics, no naughty links, no recent traffic drops, traffic from the country you want, no orphan pages, real sites, not honeydicks, and no general magazine sites. If you just do those 7 things, you're probably better than 99.9% of link builders out there already.
That's fascinating.
And I did a live video last week where I went through a list that someone had sent me. You know, one of these, like, oh, sir, I've got loads of links.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, sure, show me your list. And they send you a little list and you say, give me your entire list. And they send you thousands and thousands of links in Google Sheet. And just click it randomly. I say, here's the most expensive one. Here's the cheapest one. Here's a random one. And just went through this really set, like 7 criteria. Not a single link out of thousands can pass it. So if you have one that does, it's immediately better than all of those links. And cheaper.
Yeah.
They're cheaper as well because they're not getting 10,000 link requests a day.
Yeah, God, you wouldn't believe how many we get at legit every day, like for the on the site. I mean, you would.
No, man. When you posted my name, the amount that came into my inbox.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, you mentioned traffic declines. One thing that I like to look at is how many pages and how many keywords are ranking. And not like how many,
Yeah.
but like a lot of times if you look at them, they'll have a huge organic traffic number, but it's one page that's driving all the traffic, or one blog post that's driving all the traffic. So you're in a situation where if that page gets deleted for whatever reason, or it gets hit with a ranking or whatever happens, all that traffic goes away and the site's useless. So that's something, it took me a while to figure that out, but it's something that we've been looking at now and evaluating now. And a lot of times, even if it has thousands of keywords, it's again, 1 or 2 pages that are ranking for all those keywords. And I don't think anybody's doing anything dishonest in those cases most of the time. I think it's just that no one's ever dug that, well, not, I shouldn't say no one, but most people don't dig that deep and look at that. And I think
that's the responsibility of the link seller, right?
Right. Right. And that's just something that to be perfectly honest, I didn't check for years, but after getting a few, this site that you sold me 6 months ago has no traffic now. We started looking into that, and that's why. So I think that's
how we all learn, right? We sell a link. Someone says it's shit. Why is it shit? For this reason. You go, okay, yeah. So we'll add that as a criteria now. We cannot be that.
Yep.
That's exactly how I got to this seven simple stages, right?
Yeah. So you do is it all guest posts? Is it link insertion / niche edits? What kind of linking do you like to do?
It depends on what the client wants at the end of the day. Niche edits the best because they're on pages that already rank and already have authority. A guest post it might be better long term, but for the short term, niche edits are the best. If you want to rank now, buy a load of niche edits.
So do you have to do anything? I mean, I know the answer to this, but do you think that you have to do anything to get them recrawled once there's like you do a link insertion, so that Google knows that that page was updated?
So what we do is we build links to the link. And these are just really simple ones like, Medium, Twitter, those type of places. It's things that get crawled a lot. So that you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and there are loads of indexing services, but I find you don't need them.
No, I've had to use indexing services to get my guest posts indexed sometimes. But for the most part, you don't need them for that many things. I do something similar. It actually kind of segues nicely into what my next question was going to be is, what do you think about tiered linking? Do you think that do you do everything at tier 1, or do you do tiers? How deep do you go with that?
I only sell tier 1.
Okay. However,
tiered link building is the perfect way to do it. Mm-hmm. If you want to, we've done thousands of tests over the years. And for 10 consecutive years, the perfect link, the one that moves the needle the highest, looks exactly the same. So while people think link building is like this, the actual perfect link just stayed here and has never, ever changed. And the best, maybe not the best, the most strategic way to get one of those links is probably using tiered link building.
Interesting. It's again, Stefan, please stop asking the same question over and over again. We'll get to it as soon as we can. That's something that I ignored for longer than I should, to be honest. Like I was like, it's a strong link, so why should I power it up or do the other links to it? But that's something I've started doing a lot, is like PBN type links to guest posts have worked very, very well for me. So that's good to hear. Do you do anything with PBNs or no?
I don't personally.
Okay.
However, shall we talk about what the perfect link looks like, and because it segues well into PBNs?
Yeah, let's do it.
So there are 5 factors of what we would deem the perfect link, right? And the thing about these is they do not exist. You can't find them.
Right.
So you have to make them. In the wild, you can't get a perfect link. So the page itself that you're getting a link on should be optimized for the keyword that you want to rank for.
Yep.
That's the first thing. Within the first 50 to 100 kilobytes of the page loading, your link should be there. So we're talking first sentence, right? and only on sites where they don't load the header and the footer before the body.
Oh, Lord.
Right? It's extreme, but if you want the perfect link, that's how you do it. You want to use the exact anchor because why not, right? If you're making a perfect link, give it the most power it can. You want to be the only link on the page. The page itself, not the site, should have a good link profile. Now, that all seems very simple, but
no, it doesn't.
I mean, simple to explain. Simple does not mean easy, right? It's impossible. It doesn't exist. If you go out right now with an infinite amount of money, you could not find a link like this. So you have to make them yourself. PBNs are perfect links. However, really hard to find, really hard to build, and almost impossible to maintain at that level. Maintaining a good PBN that meets this criteria is almost like running a full business. And that's just for one site.
Right.
So PBNs, whilst effective in this way, if you can find them, really, really hard to do. You don't want to manage your own PBN in this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
no, go ahead.
So the actual best way to do this is through outreach. And you find a site that's trying to rank for the keyword, but doesn't. Or it doesn't rank high enough. So we're talking, ranks 30th or something like that. So you say to them, I see you're trying to do this. We want to buy a link on your site anyway. Let me optimize the page for you. You'll get more traffic. They're going to charge you a lot more for this, but the link is going to be so much better. And at that point, once you have it, it's probably not going to have a great link profile. So you can build links to it. And that's where the tiered link building comes in. But we're building tier 1 links to that as our second tier.
Interesting.
So normal outreach email, but going to a link that you've already built.
So the thing that you said about finding sites that don't load the header and the footer first, how would you even go about doing that other than just manually looking at them?
It's not an important thing. It's just the absolute perfection. Like as a one-to-one test, if the footer and header load first or the footer header load after the body, this one's better. That's all it is.
Interesting.
You're very rarely going to get that good, but if you have complete control of the page and the site, like you would in a PBN,
right,
that's what you're going to get.
Interesting. That's something I never thought to test, but it makes sense now that you say it. Because like your whole goal, and I think a lot of SEOs forget this, your entire goal is to make it your site easier for search engines to understand. The easier you make it, the more likely you are to succeed. And by putting the keyword as soon as possible and like the least amount of server time it takes them to read the site, the sooner they'll be able to, the more likely you'll be able to rank.
That's exactly what it is. Yep.
Unless you're Forbes, where they rank automatically and their site is complete garbage. So, okay, wow, that's all some pretty heavy stuff. What about like anchor text strategy? You mentioned if with the perfect link, you're going to do an exact match anchor, but yeah, you can obviously go crazy and do too much of that. So like, or you can do too little. I never see people do it right, to be perfectly honest. So what's your opinion on that?
If I'm building links to a client who has a real business, which most of mine are, they're well versed in SEO. They know exactly what they're doing. I filter out my clients to be people who know the language I use in my ads and stuff like that. It's like you wouldn't click on it if you didn't know what you're buying, right? If you didn't know what a link was and stuff like that. So it's not something that I tend to, as a seller, concentrate on.
Right.
Because I'm just like, you know what you're doing. So I say, where do you want the link and what anchor do you want to it? That's as far as it goes as a seller. As an SEO, never ever build a keyword anchor to the homepage of a site.
Right.
It's not natural. No, if you go to Amazon, no one's saying, you know, buy whatever product and they link to the Amazon homepage. They link to the product page.
Right.
All of your homepage links should be branded, in my opinion, branded or naked or a random word.
Yeah, I agree. Like that's what I've always taught is that if they set up the site right, it wouldn't make sense to do a keyword to the homepage anyway, because the homepage would be just about the brand name. Like, and you used Amazon as an example. They don't try to rank their homepage for best e-commerce store or whatever. You know, I mean, it probably does rank for that, but it's Amazon is what they try to rank the homepage for. You know, so some people get that wrong. I know I certainly did when I was first starting SEO, but I agree. Like, and just branded, and like I also like to do like what I call like industry level anchors to the homepage. So if it's like a dentist or something, it's just dentist to the homepage. And like if I want to like
and just you want random shit as well, like click here or check this out, those type of things.
Yeah. But there's no like, you know, like, and well, I'll just ask you this. Do you think there's some magic ratio of how much this type of anchor and how much of that type of anchor and so on?
I know for a fact there is, but it's different for every single industry.
Okay. And
there's no for every SEO out there, don't go and build 30% exact match kind of thing. But for individual industries, if you work in them a long time, you figure out what their tolerances are.
Okay. And you think that's based off what worked for the other sites in the industry, or how do you think that they determine it?
I actually think the tolerance goes up based on how much spam and shit there is out there.
Interesting.
So, for example, in those industries we were talking about earlier, finance, casinos, you know, drugs and porn and stuff like that.
Yeah, the really difficult ones.
Yeah, you can get away with really, really aggressive anchor text because there's so much else out there that's ranking that is crap.
Yeah.
If everybody else is being aggressive, you get to be aggressive too.
That makes sense. It's your neighborhood, I think, is a good way to put that.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So as a link seller myself, I put in a lot of like checks beforehand to make sure that people know what they're getting. And like one of the questions I put in my legit services is, you understand that I'm not responsible for any ranking good, bad, or otherwise. I'm just going to do the thing that you asked me to do. type of thing. Do you get unreasonable people who, and like, do you accept it if somebody buys like one link and wants to rank for buy gold for a brand new site, or like, how do you handle those kinds of situations?
I don't promise any rankings whatsoever.
Yeah.
All I say is productized. Tell me what you want. Here's what I'm going to deliver. Buy it or not.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have unfair expectations of productized services. Like, you're not buying a result, you're buying a task. It's your job to know how to get the result and fill it in with other people doing the tasks. And unfortunately,
yeah, and my strategy for sales has always been, here's a complex thing. Here's me explaining exactly how to do it. I'll even show you how to do it.
Yep.
Watch me do it for free. But if you don't want to do it yourself, here's my price.
Yeah. Yeah. I do the same thing with like my YouTube content. I've given away, not so much anymore, but I used to like do a lot of tutorials on stuff that I sell and just say, but if you don't want to do this, it looks like a pain in the ass, then click this link and buy it from me instead.
That's all I do. All of this information I've given you on this, I'm reading it from a training I made yesterday called The Perfect Link.
Awesome. So a little preview that we're getting there. So that's cool. So you've we'll switch gears a little bit. You said that you want to get into mostly doing info products. I assume I know the reason for that, but what's your reasoning for that?
I prefer teaching people. And I think that all of the training that I've seen is not at the level I would like it to be. And that's including my own. I think there's too much fluff. So like I don't did you see the course that I've put on legit?
I don't think so.
So it's 18 videos and people love that. They go, oh, 18 videos, 18 linked building videos. It's a total of 20 minutes long. There's honestly zero fluff. It's like, do this. Is watching me do it. And it's like, do this again. And here's me do it. It's every step to building a link.
Awesome.
And it's just 18 minutes long, no fluff whatsoever.
I'm probably going to buy that afterwards. I didn't realize you'd put up a course too. I enjoy the 8-bit graphic there and the.
I love this little guy. I have so many ridiculous ones of them.
I like how it looks like he has a gift there.
Yeah, he likes to undo his pants. This guy.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think that's really good because like a lot of people think that info products and info marketing is an easy business, and that's why a lot of people get into it. I don't find that to be the case unless you just want to sell it and don't give a shit if anybody gets any results from it. But like I maintained Superstar SEO Academy for years, and it was a lot of work because I wanted to be able to answer questions for people and provide value, and I tried to like cover every topic possible. And you know, it's not the easy money printer that people make it out to be, at least not in my experience.
Yeah, I've made so much money doing it now, but it's about simplification these days. I think there's I have hundreds and hundreds of hours of training, and in my group now there is 7 hours, 7 1-hour sessions, and you don't need more than that until you've done all of those. So all I do is these 7 initial hours, and then a weekly call. And on that call, I'm yours for an hour, right? I'll do whatever you want. So if you bring me an email that isn't performing for you, I will sit there with you and write that email. And I think that's how training should be now.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I say it's not easy to do, because if you get thousands of students, that's obviously you can't do that at scale. So it's not the reason that people view it as an easy industry is because they don't do a good job, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I see all these, there's loads on TikTok all the time who are like, hey, here's how to sell info product and here's how to make one in 5 seconds. It's type this into ChatGPT and import it into Canva and sell it for $30. I'm like, where's your reputation going to be after, like,
it's also so disrespectful to someone that's like trying to make a change in their life and is trying to invest in it, and you just put out some shit from ChatGPT. I couldn't agree more.
But also, where's ChatGPT getting the info? They're pulling my info, and you're getting it like.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The other hard part about selling info products is if you ever do any paid advertising, be prepared for, especially on Facebook, be prepared for people to call you every name under the sun. Scam.
Oh, so I've been running an ad recently because I started a couple of weeks ago. When I messaged you, I was like, right, I need to up my game a little bit because I've been really ill. So for 2 years now, I've been waiting for a transplant. So I've been like, right, I need to wake back up because my cash is getting low. Let's wake up. Let's make some money, right? So I've been running ads. The first thing I got comments, I was like, oh, let's go and check that out. Someone goes, you look Down syndrome.
Oh, Jesus.
What am I supposed to, what do I do with that?
Just delete it and block them. That's all you can really do. I've gotten stuff like that before, people talking about like my teeth and like the way I looked.
Oh, I get my teeth all the time. I have terrible teeth. I'm English, whatever. But
I also get, what's this grown man doing with a bunch of fucking toys behind him? Like I get that sometimes. It's people are nasty. So, and they especially seem to hate info marketers. So it's like, you have to have
there's this thing of like, oh, you're selling a course. You're only producing content to sell a course. Yeah. why why else would I put stuff out for free?
Yeah.
That will benefit you.
Yeah.
Like, it's a business, right? And you said earlier about the at everyone tag. You're running a marketing resource. Your group is a marketing resource for you.
Yeah.
You can't reach people without the everyone tag these days.
Yep.
So if people don't like it, just
Yeah.
get out, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get why people get so upset about stuff like that. It's absurd. Yeah, the info marketing is not for the faint of heart. So I had another
Yeah,
point.
but if you don't like info marketing, I'm gonna ram info marketing down your throat this year. For next year, you're not gonna hear anything else from me. I'm gonna sell a £2,000 course, and you're all gonna buy it, and you're not gonna have a choice.
Good.
You're gonna see me and see me and see me until you buy it.
That's my goal too. Is I feel like if people, I made a post about this the other day. I said that if you're not getting people telling you they're sick of seeing your stuff, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, right.
Now this is going to be.
You've got a course on. Is it on Warrior Forum?
It was on Warrior Plus. I partnered with some other people and launched a course on getting clients for a local SEO agency. So it's I think it's still available. I don't really know how Warrior Forum works beyond after the launch what it is either. But I think it's still available. Now this is going to be the most important question of the entire thing. What's the deal with the penguin?
I just love them, ever since I was a kid, I just love penguins. I find them so cute. But the problem with that is every time you tell somebody, because every woman that I meet, right, they say, "Oh, you like penguins?" And then every Christmas, every birthday, penguin shit. I've got so much penguin stuff.
Yeah, I get that a lot now too. Like people buy me these as the only thing that we got. My mom got me one for Easter that was like Michael Scott from The Office, and you press the little thing and it says, "That's what she said." It pops out of his head. So I've been wondering that the entire time. So it's like, why does he have a penguin behind him? So cool. All right, so we're almost an hour into this. Wow, this is a good conversation.
Oh, that went fast.
Does anybody have any questions for Dan before we start wrapping up? We have still a good number of folks on, so I know that you're listening intently, but I'd love to take any of your questions as well. And in the meantime, I'll just remind everyone that I'm here with Dan Ray. He's a link building expert, an SEO trainer, and all around great guy. You can find him on Facebook at Dan Maverick Ray. You can find him on Legit at legit.com/Dan Ray. And now he's wearing a penguin hat.
Watch.
What's that? Oh, wow. I didn't know it had features. Now I'm jealous. So anyhow, if anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat. Is there anything else you want to get into before we get?
Yeah. If you are a link builder who wants to be better, go to Legit, buy my course. You will instantly be better within 20 minutes. And if you want to buy links, buy my links on Legit as well.
Yes.
Make me and Chris richer.
Yes, I always make that point as like, I want to make sure that you have as much opportunity to give me money as often as possible. So
yes, please.
I find that being blatantly capitalistic like that, people don't find it nearly as off-putting as if you're like I'm really just providing a bunch of value, which, I'm doing. But when I'm providing you value, it's to sell you something. And I'm not ashamed to say that, like a lot of people are. I call them value adders.
At the end of the day, it's all a business.
Yeah.
When you're in my Facebook group, you're thinking, oh, that's a really cool guy. Yeah, buy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of people, I think, even convince themselves that when they're creating value, that they're really just doing it for the value, even though they know they want to sell some shit. So I don't know why that's a thing that we need to be ashamed of. I'm not a fan of Grant Cardone, but I do like his approach that, I'm trying to sell you stuff. This is a business.
I got a little bit addicted to Grant Cardone when I saw do you know that show that he was on where it was like go from 0 to 1 million in 3 months or whatever? I watched that and I loved it. So I got a little bit addicted to him, bought his book and stuff.
Yeah. I've read a couple of his books. Gabor asks, do you care zero about DRs? Just checking traffic trend of a site plus country plus relevancy. What nasty sites? I don't think I understand that question.
I think he's just asking about my my 7 steps, right? My 7
Okay.
processes. I don't care about metrics, but your clients do. So if you're selling links, metrics are very important.
Mm-hmm.
If you're building links for yourself, I wouldn't worry about them too much.
Okay. How important do you? I know the answer to this, but I know other people are probably wondering. How important do you think that relevance is? Like the whole site need to be relevant. The post.
100%. That's the most important thing.
Interesting. So then it makes it even harder to find a really good link, then, right? Because most sites that sell links are just general sites.
Yeah, and you want ideally the page you're getting a link on should be from something that optimizes and that is optimized and ranks for your keyword you want to rank for, right? And all of the internal links from the site that go to that page should be optimized for semantically relevant things to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why relevance is important. It's not like a mythical like woo-woo thing. This is how machines think.
Yeah.
And this is how Google crawls a site.
Yeah. When I started doing like SEO or links or even like just websites in general, I always did that with posts that I was linking from and to anyway. It just without being told that that's what you're supposed to do, like to optimize the title and the meta tags and the description, like everything. Like I was bewildered when there's and I like the guy, so I won't say his name, but a big SEO course I took that was like his main teaching on what to do in a link was to optimize the link page. It's like, that's just common sense, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently it's not, but but it makes sense
I think it is common sense if you've not been influenced anywhere. If you were a blank slate and someone said, figure this out, that's exactly the conclusion you come to.
Yeah.
However, people find SEO from celebrities in it, right? And they go, oh, then he must be right and he knows what he's doing. So you already have this idea of what link building is and how it works and why it works. And it could be completely made up, because I know, I don't want to get into drama, but I know for a fact that some of the biggest people in SEO who say they test stuff, I was with a guy once, and his boss was about to go on stage at his own event to do the keynote speech. He says, oh, I need something to say. I need something big to say that people will be interested in. And we were drunk, like very, very drunk. And he made something up.
Oh my
God. This speaker then said on the stage, and the whole industry of people still believe to this day.
That's crazy. Completely believable. But
completely made up.
Yeah, that's terrible. Gabor says, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm doing my best. I thought relevancy as topic, like I'm a hot pepper grower with my wife, and I target other sites writing about hot pepper related businesses, or health sites talking about capsaicin, but not competitors. I guess he's saying that, yeah, he agrees with relevance. I guess that's what he's saying there. I'm not 100% sure, but there is a case. Yeah, I have heard people make that argument that that it's not natural to link to another relevant site, but I don't know if I agree with it or not.
It's just about, does Google think this thing is related to your thing?
Yeah.
And a good way to answer that question is, would the person clicking on this link be interested in what's on the other side of the link? If the answer is no, it's probably not relevant.
Okay. That wasn't an arbitrary example. He actually makes hot sauce. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, Gabor's in my group as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad that we got to reach some people I haven't seen before, because a lot of these streams we get the same folks over and over again, which is great, but it's also nice to attract new people. All right, I think that just about does it. He says busted. I'm busted. Anything else you want to promote or plug or say before we wrap up here?
I just want to tell people that out of all of the freelance platforms, legit is legit the best one. Like, I'm on all of them. I've been on all of them. I've bought from all of them. And the people who Chris promotes, they really, really care about the quality of the work they do. And you don't get that elsewhere. So, not promoting my own shit, promoting yours. Legit is fantastic. If you need something done, fuck Fiverr, fuck Freelancer, just buy it from here, especially if it's SEO.
Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you. Especially the part you said about the people that I promote, because I get a lot of grief from freelancers who don't get sales because I don't send them traffic, because I don't think, and it's not that they're not good enough, but they haven't proven to me that they deserve it yet, you know. And
the thing, I think something that's really telling about a person is how other people speak about them. And so many people have come over to me since you mentioned my name, and they love you. They absolutely adore you. So
thank you.
That's big for me.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate whoever that was that said that. So, all right. I think we'll go ahead and call it there. And next, thank you for, I know it's late, so thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us today. People should come visit you on Legit yourself at legit.com/Dan Ray. Definitely buy his course. I'm going to buy it myself. And then there's a couple of, looks like he's got a niche edit service, and so you got two different.
Please don't buy the niche edit service. It loses me money, so I'm not going to offer it.
Okay, I see. All right. Well, anyway, we'll do that. As programming note, next week I have on the 9th, which is next Tuesday, I have Robbie Rizik, who has some AI software and he does Google Map stuff, and he's on Legit as well. And then my LinkedIn manager, Lizzie and Rossieni, will be on Rossini, I think is how that's pronounced, on April 11th. And he's going to teach us how to get stuff from LinkedIn. So we'll look forward to that. Everybody else that was here, I want to thank you for being here. I know you could have been anywhere else in the world and you chose to spend your time here. I'll never take that for granted. So thank you for that. It means a lot to a lot of people. That's it. We'll see you again soon. Last but not least, figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you again soon. Peace.